Alright, these videos are going to show you the solutions to the retake. I'll try to fit it into two videos. We'll see what happens. Alright, so we'll just go right from the beginning. How many solutions will there be? So we're going to be using b squared minus 4ac. So we're going to get 5 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 6. So we have 25 minus, and a negative times a negative is plus. So this is what, 24, 48. So we don't even really need to finish that. We know it's positive, so there'll be two solutions. Alright, next one, b squared minus 4ac. So we have negative 10 squared minus 4 times a times c. Negative 10 times negative 10 is 100. Negative, negative, negative is going to end up being negative, and then 25 times 4 is 100, which is 0, so we have one solution. Alright, using the quadratic formula. Before we use the quadratic formula, we have to put it in standard form, and we have to solve or make sure we have 0 on one side. So we're going to add 3x to both sides. So now it's in standard form, and it's equal to 0. So we have negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So negative b is going to be negative 3 plus or minus square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4 all over 2a, which is going to be 2 times 1. So now I'm just going to go over here. So we have negative 3 plus or minus square root of 9 plus 16 all over 2. Well, 9 plus 16 is 25, so the square root of that's going to be 5. So we have negative 3 plus or minus 5 all over 2. So that's going to be negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8 over 2. And then we have negative 3 plus 5, which is 2 over 2. So the answers are negative 4 or 1. And we could just plug those back into the original, see if those work. So 16 minus 4 is 12, equals negative 3 times negative 4, which is 12. So that negative 4 works. For 1, we have 1 minus 4 is negative 3, which is the same as negative 3 times 1. So they're both good. So x equals, bam. Alright, I'm going to graph this one. So we're going to start by finding the vertex. X equals negative b over 2a. So b is negative 1. So the opposite of b is 1. Then we have 2 times negative 1. So we have negative 1 half. So now we're going to make our xy chart. Keep in mind this is a negative a value, so we expect it to look like an n. If it doesn't, we've made a mistake and we need to try again. So negative 1 half is surrounded by 0 and negative 1, and then negative 2 and 1. So we expect this to be the middle, and then these two to be the same, and then these two to be the same. So negative 1 half, that's going to be negative times negative 1 half squared minus negative 1 half minus 1. So we have negative 1/4 plus 1 half, which we're going to call 2/4, minus 1, which we're going to call 4/4. And so negative 1 plus 2 minus 4 is going to be negative 3/4, it looks like. Alright. So now we can make sure everything looks right by graphing these other two numbers here. So we have 0, so 0, 0, negative 1. So we expect this to be the same. So we're going to have negative 1 plus 1, which is 0 minus 1. So that works. And then we'll have negative 1 minus 1 minus 1, which is negative 3. And then negative 4 plus 2 minus 1 is negative 3. And just to show you how I'm doing this in my head, I'll just plug in a couple of these so you see what's going on. Like the negative 1, for instance, plug that in. I like to use parentheses every time just to show what's going on, make sure I don't mess up with the negative signs. So every first term value here is always going to end up negative, because whatever's in here is going to be squared to end up positive, and then this applies to make it negative. So every time, no matter if this is positive or negative, this is going to be negative. So negative 1 squared is 1, and then the opposite of that, plus 1 minus 1. So when we have negative 1, we end up getting negative 1. I'll plug in 1 just to show you. So here's negative 1 squared minus 1 minus 1. So this ends up being negative 1 minus 1 minus 1, which is negative 3. That's right here. So graphing that, again, we expect it to look like an N. So 1, negative 3 here. 0, negative 1 would be right here. Negative 1/2, negative 3/4 would be about right there. Negative 1 is going to be about there. And then negative 2, negative 3 is going to be here. So we do have that U shape we're looking for, so we can feel pretty confident in our answer at this point. Great. Alright, next graphing one. So we're going to start with the vertex again. So we're going to get b is negative 4, so the opposite of b is 4. Over 2 times 2 is 4, so that's 1. Okay, nice. They're not both fractional, which is nice. You're welcome. So we're going to have a 1 here, and then we're going to have a 0, and a 2, and a negative 1, and a 3. Alright, so let's start with 1. So we have 2 minus 4 is negative 2, plus 1 is negative 1. We have 0, 0, 1. And we expect this to be 1 as well, so let's see, 8 minus 8 is 0, plus 1 is 1, so that worked. And we have negative 1, so 2 plus 6, no, 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And for 3 we have 9, 18, minus 12 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So these worked out. Let's graph it. We expect it to look like a U because it's positive. So 1, negative 1 is here. 0, 1 is here. 1, negative 1. I already did that. I don't know what order I'm going in, so I'll start over. So negative 1, 7 is going to be right here. 0, 1 is here. 1, negative 1 is here. 2, 1 is here. And then 3, 7 is up here. So it does look correct. So now we just, whoops, kind of missed. There we go. You get the idea. There we go. Looks like that. Alright, I'm going to stop this video and resume number 6 on the next one.